some circulation of the ankles. Maybe circulate the ankles around to the right. Circulate the ankles around to the left. Do that 5 times. Notice first what direction feels natural to you to start in. Our right side again is our side of being, our side of doing. Our right foot steps out into the world. And then our left side is our closest relationship to our heart, our emotions, where we hold ourselves. And then come back through center 5 times. Point your toes forward. And then start to flex your toes back. Good. And then as you do this, really see if you can point your toes and then draw the toes together. Feel the arch, the heel, the center of the arch lift up. And then as you flex your toes, I want you to try to open your toes, spreading your toes. Our toes are direct connection to our lungs. Really spread and open from the big toe to the pinky toe. And then 5 times like that. You can go slow, you can go fast, just really connecting to your ground floor. Finding your foundation. And then come to stillness after those 5 rounds. Start to draw your knees over to the right side, gentle supine twist. If you still have your blankets there and to the side, you might consider moving them off to the side, or you can even take a blanket in between your thighs. Open your arms out wide into a T shape, and then look over at your left hand. Flip your left palm up, and I want you to really turn your left upper arm bone out of the shoulder so you create more space into that left lung. And then maybe the gaze travels away from the knees over towards that left side. If you want a little bit more today, right hand can come on top of the left thigh. Opposite side, right hand to left thigh. And then just settle in here. Start to get long through all 4 sides of the torso. Feel that you have a front, a back, a right, a left. And then find the breath. Inhale up the front, the right, the left, the back. Exhale out through the whole thing. Inhale, come back through center. Draw the knees into the chest, Uttanasana. And then draw the knees over to the left side. Again, if you want a blanket for a little bit more space, if your low back has been bothering you, a blanket in between both thighs is a nice option. And then take your right arm out nice and long. Turn your right palm up to open up your right arm at the shoulder. And so again, if you need to stretch the neck today, take the gaze over into the right hand. And then option, just to give yourself a self-adjustment, left hand to right thigh, opposite hand to opposite thigh. And if you went the other way, it's okay. We're doing both sides, right? So let go of that expectation. And then breathe in again through the front, the back, the right, the left parts of the torso. Exhale out through the whole thing. Draw your knees back through center. Draw your hands around the backs of the thighs. And then set your feet down. Take a hold of your block. We're going to move through a dynamic Bandhasana, Sargavasana, bridge pose. Start by taking your feet directly underneath the center of your knees. Feet directly underneath the center of your knees. Take a block on the medium facet, medium side, in between the thighs. Try to go a little bit closer towards the groin. Try to avoid the knees as best as you can. And then again, turn your palms up. So really turning your upper arm bone out of the shoulder. And just like we started, maybe lifting the heads of your shoulders up and away from the ground. And then soften, release. Try to get the tips of the shoulder blades down. From here, press down through both the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. Press your full foot down and then start to lift your hips up to Bandhasana. Give the block a squeeze. Roll your inner thighs in. Think your inner thighs go in to push your outer thighs out just slightly. Create a little bit more volume. And then slowly make a connection. Slowly lower your low back all the way back down to touch. Do that 5 times. Dynamic bridge pose. Press down through the feet. Notice as you do this, if you have a tendency to shift your weight into your heels, maybe you lose contact with the big toe, the pinky toe edge of the foot. And then start to notice, where are you driving a little bit more forward into the balls of your feet? Do you have a tendency to kind of jump the gun, pressing into the balls of the feet? Or do you have a tendency to pull back? Pressing into the heels is almost like pressing hard and heavy into your gas pedal. After those 5 rounds, lower your tailbone all the way down. And then take your block and drop it off into the side. One more time, Uttanasana, hands around the shins. And then start to create a little bit of movement of here. You can start to rock a little bit, front and back. Rock 3 times. Or if that's not good for you today, roll to your right and then come all the way up and over, coming into Virasana. As we come into Virasana, set yourself up with blocks. You can take a block or 2 underneath the sits bones, or you can sit on a blanket if you don't have blocks. I like to actually do 2 blocks and a blanket folded like a square. So just take a note of what feels best for you. And then take your hands to your heels. Connect your upper body to your lower body. And then take a moment to really close your eyes here. Draw the heads of the shoulders back. And then start to find the breath again. Breathe in the front, the back, the right, the left, up and down. Exhale, come all the way back to your center. And so we're going to do a meditation as we come into this is kind of our beginning part of practice before we flow and find movement. Just clearing out the mind a little bit before we practice asana and movement. And so we're going to do all of this with our imagination, using this visualization that we worked at the beginning of our body, not as a temple, but our body as a home. And so close your eyes. 1, go all the way down to your perineum. Your perineum is your boiler room in your house, a place where we don't often go, a place where we often start to light something, maybe lighting that ignition light. 2, use your imagination to travel up to the back of your right eye. And this is our attic, where we hold our memories, where we reflect. 3, travel around your back to your left armpit. Think your left armpit travels your heart just slightly to the right. This is your kitchen, where you hold your emotions, where you perhaps have your best conversations. Again, all of this with your imagination. 4, travel up to the front of your left eye, your bedroom, where we look out and see dawn to the right. 5, drop down to the center of your chest, your living room, the space where you spend most of your time. 6, use your imagination to travel down to your right foot, your personal garage, your mobility, where you step out into the world. 7, travel up, up, up to your right armpit. Think your right armpit goes out just slightly, creating volume. Your office, your right hand, where you shake a deal, where you write the check. 8, travel around your back and down to your left foot. Your laundry room, the cycle, we always do the laundry. Laundry will never end. 9, travel up to your forehead at your third eye, your personal observatory, where we vision, where we stargaze. And then 10, feel the whole body together. We'll do that with a breath now, all with our imagination. Inhale, 1, drop down into your perineum, your boiler room. 2, travel up to the back of your right eye, your attic. Exhale, 3, around the back to your left armpit. Your left armpit turns you just slightly to the right, turning with time. 4, exhale up to your front of your left eye, your bedroom. Inhale, 6, to the center of your chest, your living room, place of your well-being. Exhale all the way out, down to your right foot, your garage. Inhale, up, 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 7 to your right armpit, your office, place of doing, place of shaking on that deal. Exhale all the way down your back to 8 to your left foot, your laundry room that goes again and again and again, the cycle that reminds us of all the hard work. And then 9, inhale up to your third eye. Exhale out the whole body. And so taking this with our practice today is using the body as our home, as our personal abode. Maybe one area resonated with you over than the others. And then start to breathe in through the nose. Breathe in fully through the whole body. Open the mouth, exhale all the way up completely. Slowly begin to open the windows of your eyes to take the gaze open. And then come over into a table pose. Find hands and knees. Really nice work, everyone. As you come into table pose, take your hands, measure the distance from your shoulders, pick up your middle fingers, spin your middle fingers together to touch. As you touch your middle fingers together, note that this is the measurement of your collarbones, the measurement of your shoulders. And then lift your fingers up so you're spinning just onto the heel of the hand. Spin your middle fingers back to face forward. And then press down through the big toe and the big toe and the pinky toe edge of the foot. Start to track your knee directly in front of your heels. On an inhale, press the hands down, round the spine for cat. As you exhale, come into your cow pose. Think your pubic bone goes forward, your tailbone goes back. Do that one more time slow. Inhale, round the spine, find your cat pose. Exhale, out to cow. Good, one more time. Inhale, round the spine, find your cat. Exhale, really push the air out like you're pushing something out that doesn't serve you. Find your cow pose. Inhale, come back to table pose. Tuck your toes for a short downward facing dog. Lift your hips straight up and back, downward facing dog. And then inhale, come forward for a plank pose. I want you to measure your plank. Most of us are gonna have to step our feet nice and long. Straighten your legs, keep your toes tucked in for plank pose. Press your heels back, lengthen and reach through the crown of your head. Now send your hips up and back. Come back to a more traditional stance of downward facing dog. Lift your heels up, everyone. Bend into both knees. Try to get your chest towards your thighs. So we're going to work with this knee bent down dog so we have more mobility in our upper bodies today. On an inhale, come back forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees back down, hips to heels for Balasana, child's pose. Always find child's pose when you need it at any time in your practice. And then when you're ready, tuck the toes, come back to downward facing dog. Lift the hips straight up and back. Bend, bend, bend through the knees. Lift your right leg straight up and back towards the sky. Exhale, draw the right knee into the navel. Think your right knee goes forward. Look forward, but I don't want you to use your neck. I want you to use your pelvis to draw you forward, and then press your left heel back. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Look forward towards the front of the mat, and then take your right hand to 3 o'clock on a clock face. Take your right hand to 9 o'clock. Think your pubic bone goes forward, your tailbone goes back, and then push down into your right heel to lift your right buttock bone up a little bit to get your right buttock bone in line with your shoulders. Put a little air into your tires, and then drop your left knee down, untuck your back toes. Inhale, low crescent lunge, reach the arms forward and up. That's it. Hook the thumbs. Good, and then start to pull the thumbs away from one another. Try to get your arms in line with your ears. Good. Find a 9-degree bend with your right knee. Right knee stacks on top of right heel. Take a full deep breath. Inhale, and then exhale. Set your hands onto the inside of the front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. Press your left heel back, and then step your right foot back to meet a plank pose. Take a full deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Drop your pelvis. Straighten your legs, point your toes back. Draw your hands underneath your shoulders. Bend your arms and elbows to 90 degrees. Pull your elbows in. On an inhale, lengthen your buttock bone back towards your heels and really spread your toes. Make a connection. Big toe to pinky toe edge of the foot. Push your pelvis into the mat, and then inhale, lift your chest forward and up for a baby cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, set your chest back down. Do that one more time. Buttock bone presses back towards the heels. Slight internal rotation of the thighs. Think your inner thighs lift up to the ceiling, but your outer thighs press out. Then lift your chest forward and up. That's it, everybody. Exhale, set your chest back down. Tuck your toes back in. Either child to down dog or straight back to down dog or twist. Bend your knees when you arrive in down dog. Find your downward facing dog. Note where your right hand is. Put your brain in your right hand. Push your right hand down. And imagine an imaginary line from your right hand to your left heel. Draw an imaginary line from your left hand. Push the weight into your left hand. Draw an imaginary line from your left hand to your right heel. So there's an X marks the spot in the center of your whole body. Lift your left leg up and back, down dog split. Draw your left knee into your navel. Look forward again, don't look with your neck. Draw your pubic bone forward to really lengthen yourself forward. Put your brain in your right foot. Press your right heel back to pull your left knee forward a little bit more. That's it. And then step your left foot forward. Good. Take your hands wide to the outside edge of the mat. Right hand to 3, left hand to 9. Draw your pubic bone forward. Draw your tailbone back. And then put a little air into your tire on your left side. Lift up and out of that hip a little bit. Think there's this like internal rotation of your right thigh. And then drop your back knee down, untuck your toes. Reach your arms forward and up, low crescent lunge. Hook the thumbs the way that doesn't feel as natural to you. So usually, again, our left side is our side of our feelings. So really note what's coming up, what's arising. Take one more full breath. Inhale, lift your sternum forward and up. That's it. Exhale, set your hands back down. Retuck your right toes, straighten your right leg. Keep the gaze forward. Step straight back to plank pose again. One breath, lower all the way to your belly. Straighten your legs, point your toes back. Hands under the shoulders, arms bent to 90. Pull your elbows in and down the back. Put your pelvis into the ground. Inhale, lift your chest forward and up. Then get stable with your legs. Press your butt bone back towards your heels. And then slightly internally rotate your thighs up towards the ceiling. Think your inner thighs go in and up, but also create volume to press out. Exhale, set your chest down. Do that one more time. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift your chest forward and up. That's it. Exhale, set your chest back down. Again, option for child's to down dog or straight back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come back to plank pose. Exhale to table pose again. Realign yourself. Your knees might have to come in just slightly. Take your right hand and turn your right middle finger towards your right knee. Towards your right knee. That's it. And then start to lengthen your left leg back again like a plank pose. Really push the ball of the left foot, so opposite hand, opposite foot into the mat. From here, shift the weight into your right hand and then start to pick up your left hand and put it onto your sacrum. Aha, right? So for some of us, you're immediately going to be like, there's no way. And that's okay. If you can, and if you need to, you're in your own personal home, you can spin your right hand back. But if you're having wrist pain, see if you're just shifting the weight into your thumb. Can you really engage the full wrist? Press into the pinky edge of the right hand. Press into the webbing in between the thumb and the first finger. And think the center of the palm lifts you up. That's it. Take your left foot, turn your left leg down like a warrior one. Press back into your left heel. And then start to turn yourself from your middle. Think your pubic bone draws forward, your tailbone draws you back. And then start to spin open to the left. That's it. Turn from the tip of your right shoulder blade. That's it. Tip of your right shoulder blade turns open to the left collarbone. Make an X marks the spot in the center of your chest. Tip of your right shoulder blade turns you open to the left collarbone. X marks the spot in the center of your chest. If you can, reach your left thumb directly over your ear. That's it, everybody. Stay with me. Reach your left hand up and over towards the front of the room. Tuck your chin into your armpit. Stay for one more breath. Look down. Plant your left hand down. Straighten your left leg back and then drop your left knee back down. That's it. Take your right palm, turn it back. Good. And then sit back onto your heels. That's it. Tense your fingertips. Good. Push your fingertips down. Lift your buttock bone away from your heels. So if that's the hardest thing that you had to do all day, congratulations, you made it. We have two sides though. So let yourself be in the emotion. Take a deep breath in and then exhale all the way out. So the reason that we do those wrist stretches is because it gives us more capacity in our lungs to open out, to clear out. Come back to your table pose. This time, left hand. Spin your left middle finger to face towards your left knee. Opposite hand, opposite arm. Straighten your right leg back like a plank pose. Plug your right foot in. And then start to shift the weight first into your left thumb, left first finger, pinky edge of that left hand. And then think the arch of your hand lifts you up and out of the shoulder. And then start to turn. Take your right hand to your sacrum at your low back. That's it. Take your right foot into a warrior one, 45 degrees. That's it, Elizabeth. I know. So you can smile, right, as you do this, a little bit challenging. And then really put yourself on a spin. Turn yourself from your center. So good. So good, Nikki. I know you're breathing through this. Turn the tip of your left shoulder to your right collarbone. X marks the spot in the center of the chest. Can you lean your head back? And then maybe reach your right arm up and over your ear. Look up using your right eye, and then turn a little bit more using your left eye to get around yourself. And then start to take your right arm up and over your ear, chin into armpit. Look down, set your hand down. That's it. Drop your right knee back down, and then turn both hands back to face forward. Sit back again onto your heels. Walk the hands all the way back. Good. Lift your buttock bone off of your heels. That's it. Really widen through your collarbones. Tense your fingertips, everybody. If you're not tensing your fingertips, you're not going to release through the wrist stretch. That's it. And then start to send your hips all the way back down to the heels. Good. Walk your hands forward. Come back again into a plank pose. Always measure down dog from plank. Heels back. And then come all the way up. Lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and back, down dog split. Step your right knee into your right thumb. Good. Take your hands out wide. Right hand to 3, left hand to 9. And then start to press your left heel back. Lift your buttock bone in line with your shoulder. And then again, drop your back knee down and tuck your toes. Reach your arms forward and up. Hook your thumbs again. Go the way that feels more natural to you. The way that you personally inhabit your habits. Good, and then sit your hands down again to the inside of the front foot. This time, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. Shift the weight into the right ball of your foot to begin to straighten your leg. Think your right quadricep goes up to your hip point, but keep firm your outer right hip in. Walk your hands around to the left. Wide leg fold. Take your stance a little bit shorter for Uttanasana. Get your heels in one straight line, and then really try to turn your big toenails in just slightly. Get your heels directly behind the center of your feet. And then start to bend into your knees. Walk your hands out in front of you so your feet and hands make a triangle. And then really feel that polarity of the triangle. Feel that trinity. Feel the edges. Feel the corners. And then slowly bend your knees. Look at your right foot, walk your hands around. The stance is going to be a little bit shorter here, and that's okay. Step forward with your left foot and right foot meet. Make 2 fists. Take those 2 fists inside of the inner arches of your feet. And really measure the distance of your inner hips. Bend your knees, hook your thumbs. Chest towards the thighs. So drop down, everybody, so you're connecting your thighs. That's it, on top of your chest. And then send your knees forward and send your tailbone back. That's it. Look out. Press down through the center of the feet. Rise all the way up. Feel your hips open. Reach your arms above your head. That's it. And then send your hands down next to your hips for Tadasana. Turn your upper arm bone out of the shoulder. Send your palms forward. That's it. And then just for a moment, really kind of be dramatic about this. Shift the weight into your heels to lift your toes up. And then note that you have a back. And then shift your weight forward into the balls of your feet. Really feel your front. And then come back to your center. Feel that you have a front, a back, a right, a left, and then a center, an up and a down. And then take your hands just directly over your heart. Good. As you inhale, really feel that reflection behind you, your past, your memories. As you exhale, feel your potential in front of you. And then really radiate from your center, that space where your thumbs connect, your middle, your Sushumna Atman, your plumb line, or your plumbing, and our visualization as our home of our abode today. And then push your feet down so you're feeling that effort. And then inhale, rise up, find a little bit of grace. Good, and then exhale, pull grace down to find your effort. Hands to shins, breathe and look forward, look out. Exhale, plant the hands, step your right foot back to a plank and your left to meet it. First chaturanga, so if you want to lower the knees, you're welcome to do so, but maybe consider take them lifted. Keep your gaze out as you breathe into up dog or baby cobra. That's it. Exhale to downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Ardha Chandrasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back, down dog split. Exhale, draw your left knee into your navel. Step your left foot forward to your left thumb. Take your hands wide again, everybody. Right hand to 3, left hand to 9. Put a little air in your tire on your left side. Lift it up so it's in line with the shoulders. And then drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. Hook the thumbs away that doesn't feel as natural to you. Hook the thumbs, reach the arms forward and up. That's it. So feel a little bit of a back bend. And when we back bend from our pelvis. So lengthen your pubic bone out and forward. Drop your tailbone down and back. That's it. Drop your hands down inside of your left foot. Tuck your back toes again, lift your back knee up. Push the weight into your left ball of your foot. You can even use your big toe mound for this. As you press the leg straight, think your left quadricep goes up to your hip. And then start to walk the hands around. Wide leg fold again. Shorten the stance. Really give yourself a little bit more grounded feeling in your feet. And then again, check the alignment. Heels directly behind the center of the feet. Walk your hands out, everybody. You can even tempt the fingertips for this. So there's a little bit of an action of where we start to lay naturally. Where do you go? Do you go into your heels? Do you go into your past? Do you tend to jump the gun forward to look forward towards your potential? Can you meet yourself somewhere in the middle? So you're always knowing your surroundings so you know how to orient yourself well in time. Bend your knees, look at your left foot, walk your hands around, again, shorter stance, and then step your right foot up to meet your left. Take 2 fists, slide your 2 fists to measure the inner distance of your hips. Bend your knees, chest to thighs. Hook your thumbs away that doesn't feel as natural. And really connect. You can pull your thumbs away from one another. Draw your knees forward, draw your tailbone back. Push the weight evenly into the feet. Start to open the hips, rise up. Your hips open, your chest open. Take the gaze forward. That's it. And then take your hands all the way back down, Tadasana. One more time, turn your upper arm bone out of the shoulder, send your palms forward. And then notice again, where is your personal territory in your feet? Where do you go, where don't you go? Lift your toes up and really spread from the big toe to the pinky toe, pressing down into the center of the heel. Think the arch draws you down to lift you up. And then find your plumb line again. Find that center point where your spine lies. Drop down into your perineum to rise up through your third eye. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Catch that grace. And then exhale, pull your hands through heart center, through your plumbing, all the way down. Find the effort in your feet. Plant your hands. Step your left foot back into a lunge. Step your right foot to meet it. Again, optional flow. Or you can just press back to a downward facing dog. That's it. Hips up and back when you rise. Downward facing dog. Good. Stay for 1 breath. Connect back to that visualization of an X marks the spot in your body. Push the weight into your right hand. Draw an imaginary line. All of this with your imagination. Right hand to left heel. Push down into your left hand. Draw an imaginary line from your left hand to your right heel. X marks the spot on your chest. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Look forward towards the top of the mat. Step, hop, or jump. Hands to shins, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, hook your thumbs, bend your knees. Think your knees go forward, your butt bone goes back, and then start to lift. Rise all the way back up to standing. Good, take your hands back through heart center, fold all the way down. We're gonna put all that together. Hands to shins, halfway lift, look forward, look out. Options again, stay with a step back to plank, or you can jump back to a chaturanga, elbows are bent. Untuck your toes, press your butt bone back, think your inner thighs go in and up, chest lifts forward and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for a breath. Open the mouth, exhale, let it out. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look at your thumbs. Know where you're traveling and then get there. Step, hop, or jump. Hands to shins, breathe in. Exhale with a big sigh. Hold. Hook your thumbs away that you don't like. Chest to thighs, knees go forward, butt bones go back. Press your feet down to rise all the way up. Good, and then hands right through the heart center. Pull the heart all the way down. Hands to shins, happy lift. Look out, really get long through all four sides of your torso. Step, hop, or jump back to chaturanga. That's it. Up dog on an inhale. Really pretty, Elizabeth. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's it. Good. That's it. 2 breaths this time. Pause in Ardha Chandrasana, downward facing dog. And then really connect back. Maybe you close the windows of the house. Maybe you start to open through the breath again. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. One more breath. Inhale. Open the mouth. Exhale. But lift your heels, bend your knees. Step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Hands to shins, breathe in. Exhale, fold and breathe out. Big sigh out. Good. Hook your thumbs, bend your knees. Go a little bit deeper than you usually do. Knees go forward, butt bones go back. And then press into your feet. Find the effort, that tenacity in your feet to rise up and catch breaks. And then pull that down to your heart center. Find yourself mediating both things, grace and effort. And then take your hands down next to your hips. Turn to your left. Turn to your left. That's it. Step your feet to the widest part of your mat. The widest part of your mat. Put your brain in your left foot. Take your left big toe, turn it a little bit so it's more like a warrior 1 foot pattern. And then bend your right knee. Bend your right knee. That's it. Lift your right heel up. Turn your leg out at the hip. So when we do that, we're opening up the hip from the thigh rather than just bending the knee. And then we're going to take a different variation of warrior 2 today. Interlace your hands behind your back. Walk your hands up to the middle of your back. And I want you to really take your elbows and split your elbows out towards the side. That's it. Find the legs first. Stability in that first floor. Bend into your right knee. Put the weight into your right heel. And think your right thigh goes parallel. Press the weight into your left heel. There's a slight action of the left thigh turning in towards the left corner of your mat. And then from here, maybe you keep the hands just like they are, or maybe you start to straighten the arms down the back. As you do that, can you widen the collarbones in the front of the chest? There's a slight action of the sternum lifting forward and up, but the sternum isn't going with the knee. It's staying directly on top of the sits bones. And then draw an imaginary line from your right hip to your left knee, and your left hip to your right knee, making an X marks the spot in the center of your pelvic thigh. Right hip to your left knee, and left hip to your right knee. X marks the spot. Slowly begin to lean your torso towards your right knee, but keep your hands interlaced behind your back, everybody. It should feel challenging. It should feel heated in that front thigh. And then find yourself on a sit. Start to turn open to the left. Can you turn using the tip of your right shoulder blade to open your left collarbone, making an X marks the spot in the center of the chest. That's it. Use your breath here. I know it's challenging. Keep pressing back through your left heel. Keep pressing forward through your right heel. That's it. And then slowly begin to push the weight into the front. Ball of the foot to straighten through your front leg. So that aha moment. And then either 2 options. You can interlace the hands, keep the interlacing, and draw the hands around to the top of your right thigh for a half bind. Left hand can stay around the back. The right hand can drop down to your right shin or maybe to the ground or to a block. Or if you don't like the bind, reach the arms out for traditional Uttanasana Trikonasana pose. But really check in with what feels best in your body in this moment. Keeping that bind, maybe releasing it. Stay for 1 more breath. Think your left hip goes in and down towards the left corner of your mat. So there's that slight internal rotation of that left thigh, but there's a twist in the torso. Turn your tip of your right shoulder up to your left collarbone. And then slowly bend again into your right knee. And then if you have a block handy, we're gonna move into Ardha Chandrasana. Take your right hand to the outside of the right mat. Lift your left leg up for half moon pose. Ardha Chandrasana. That's it. Stay. That's it for one more breath. So you can bend into your right knee. Imagine you're coming back to your warrior two. Right knee bends, 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 and then land your left leg back. Good. Hands to your hips. Straighten through both legs. Really good work, everybody. Turn both legs back to face forward. And then if you have just one block and you want to switch it, we're going to do the opposite side. So feel free to have a block on the left-hand side if you want. Take your brain in your right leg. Turn your right big toe in. Bend your left knee, lift your left heel, turn your leg out at the hip. That's it. And then take your hands, interlace your hands the opposite way, the way that doesn't feel as natural to you. And then walk your hands up, up, up your low back. Splay your elbows wide. So there's a spreading and broadening of the collarbones. So there's a lifting of the sternum forward and up. And then see if we go a little bit deeper into the Virabhadrasana, two legs. Bend into your left knee to get your left thigh nice and parallel. That's it. Really push into the big toe mound. And then keep pressing back into the right heel. Think that outer right thigh spins in and down. That's it. Feel free to stay with the hands interlaced for this. We're going to start to draw the torso down, finding that a little bit more challenging Uttanasana Konasana variation. You can start to draw the hands down the back if you want to keep the widening and opening of the chest and the sternum. Think the left tip of the left shoulder blade draws open to the right collarbone, finding that X marks the spot in the center of your chest. Tip of the left shoulder blade draws open to the right collarbone, X marks the spot. Stay for one more full breath. Inhale, you've got this. Press the weight into the left big toe mound. Begin to lift that left quadricep up, 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 up for Uttanasana Konasana. And then keep the interlacing of the hands. Start to draw it around to the left hip. So I like to use my hands to kind of wiggle the hand around to take it into the half bind. You can stay with the half bind or just the hands clasped. Or you can release, finding Trikonasana with the arms reaching away from one another. That's it. And then really feel that your right hip, that's your back foot, your right hip spins in and down so that your left hip can drop back. So the pelvis is a forward bend, the legs are nice and straight, and there's a slight rotation of the torso like a spit, turning up towards the ceiling. Stay for one more full breath. Inhale, put a big bend into your left knee, Halfmoon Pose. Left hand to the outside of the left foot. Maybe start to lift the right leg up. That's it. Keep the weight into the full left foot. Shift the weight into the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot. Think the arch presses down to lift you up. That's it. And then put your brain into your warrior two pose. Bend a lot through your left knee to land back. Really good. Hands to your hips. Re-parallel your feet. Straighten your legs. That's it. Step your feet back together. And then step all the way to the top of the mat. Really good work. Good. Inhale to chair pose. Bend your knees. Shift the weight into your heels to lift your toes up. Lift your chest off of your waist. That's it. And then fold. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take your hands to your shins. Look out, look forward. Exhale, step, hop, or jump back to Chaturanga Dandasana. That's it. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Right foot forward to your right thumb. That's it. Keep your back heel lifted and then inhale, rise up to an Anjaneyasana high lunge. Reach your arms forward and up. Good. Really shift the weight into the right heel and then lift your left heel so it's directly over the back wall of the foot. Stay for a full breath. Exhale, drop your hands down, frame your front foot. Step back again, plank pose, your choice. Half or full vinyasa. You can also just hold a plank or a table pose. Send your hips up and back, down dog. Lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Take your time. Rise up, Anjaneyasana, high lunge. Good. Put your brain into your left heel. Push the weight into the heel. And then keep lifting your right heel over the back wall of the foot. That's it. Drop your hands down. Frame the foot. Step back again. Plank. Lower down chaturanga if you want. So your last flow. So take it to let go of any energy if you need it. Press the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Drop your knees down. Send your hips back to your heels. Find a Balasana, child's pose. Maybe take a moment, take a sip of water. I'm going to set us up for a Uttanasana. And Uttanasana, when you're ready, feel free to take your time. You can watch the demo as you have a sip of water if you want. We're going to come into a modified table pose first to begin. Come to a seat. And we're going to take table pose first. If you want to do full Uttanasana, you're welcome to do so. The hands are going to come back and behind you. And when we do this, it gets really heavy onto our wrist. So for a lot of us, when we feel the weight, we feel it really kind of in this connection where we have the most mobility in our wrist. And I want you to really use the full palm. Think the webbing of your thumb and your first finger presses down and your pinky edge presses down to find that lift up and away from the ground of the inner arch. Most of us have developed kind of this like text asana where we're holding our phones. So that's where all of our wrist pain starts to come in. So these poses really start to ignite that. So just be aware where you are in the pose. You're going to spin your middle fingers to face the front of the mat. Start by bending the knees, just like we did in bridge pose on our back. You're going to take your knees directly on top of the center of your feet. You're going to push down into all four corners of the feet to start to lift your hips up. The inner thighs spin in and down. The outer thighs press out just slightly. You can stay in modified table pose or start to straighten your legs, point your toes for Uttanasana. Point your toes forward and then lift your buttock bone up towards the ceiling. Think the center of your glutes press up, but your inner thighs spin in and down to find that lifting action. Get long through all four sides of the torso. And then full pose is to take the gaze up and back behind you, opening the throat. Stay for one more breath wherever you are. Stick out your tongue. Take a big sigh. Ha. Smile as you come down because it's fun. And then when you're ready, good work, Ava. I saw that. And then when you're ready, come all the way back down. That's it. And then slowly inch your seat forward. Grab a hold of your strap. Have your two blankets handy, or your two beach towels, or whatever you're working with. Come all the way down onto your back. Draw a strap around the sole of your right foot. Flex your left leg. And then see if your shoulders come off the mat. Really draw the shoulder blades down and in. Get long through all four sides of the torso. And then notice where the breath has gone. If you're holding your breath still, can you breathe in through the nose? And just for today, open the mouth. Clear out that space in the house. And then lift your left leg up to meet your right. Switch the strap around your left leg. Lengthen, extend your right leg nice and long. Flex your right toes. And then think your breath goes up and down, right and left. Front and back. Exhale, come back to your center. Allow yourself to draw that imaginary visualization of your body as your home, as your abode. Can you allow yourself to simply be at ease at home? And then take one more breath. Bend your left knee. Set your left foot down. Take your strap off into the side. We're going to end with another hip opener. So just like we started, I know some of you tripled in late, which is totally fine. We're going to end in what's called a Sukhasana reclining. It's a great hip opener. So you're going to cross your first favorite ankle on top of the other. And it's a little bit like Baddha Konasana. So you're going to tuck the blankets underneath the middle of your thighs. And this just brings the ground up to your thighs a little bit more so that your hips can really feel a little bit more relaxation release. So for this variation, you want your ankles crossed, but you want your ankles a little bit closer towards the front part of your mat. And you're in your own home and your own body. So you're really gonna feel where you maybe need to take the feet or ankles a little bit closer or have them a little bit further apart. And then anywhere the hands wanna be, hands can be on the body, they can be next to you, anywhere that feels the most supportive and grounding. And then close the eyes. And start to think again of the body as a whole. Feel the body goes up and down, right and left. And when we divide our bodies in 3 ways, 3 floors, a bottom, a middle, and a top, and we start to make ourselves into a cube. And so put yourself in the center of your sphere so that you can begin to radiate from your center. And when we create a map for our body, today we use the home map, the body as an abode. We start to begin to know our own personal territory. We become more aware of certain things. And when we become more aware of certain things, we have more information. When we have that information, we become more powerful. When it feels appropriate for your body, switch to the opposite ankle is on top. And this likely is a side that perhaps is a little bit more challenging or difficult. So just be aware of that. Use the imagination to drop down to your first floor of your body, the bottom of your body, the heaviest floor. Use an inhale to drop all the way down into your lower body. Exhale to rise up to your second floor, your torso, your arms. Feel that even when you're laying in stillness, there's still a little bit of an action. We reach for things on our second floor. We articulate what we want, what we feel, and then go up to your third floor, from your collarbones up to the crown of your head, in a space where we meditate and dream. And then be aware that you have a bottom, a middle, and a top. And then feel the whole body together. If this feels right to stay for the last few moments of practice, feel free to stay. If you'd like to straighten your legs, straighten your legs. And so one of the things that reminds us of our own great nature, our own personal sphere, our own personal home as an abode are the seasons. We move through the seasons. Right now we're in the season of spring. And so it's a reminder of a rebirth. It's also a reminder of a change. And we're in this change right now with our circumstance. But it reminds us that change is inevitable throughout our life. Feel the breath as 4 parts. 1, the inhalation. 2, the pause at the top of the inhale. 3, the exhalation. 4, the pause at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, draw the breath up. Feel spring rise. Hold the breath at the top. Hold for summer ripening. Exhale for fall descending. Pause, hold the breath out for winter. We'll do that one more time with the breath. Inhale up the front of the body from your right hip to your left shoulder. Pause, hold the breath for summer ripening. Exhale down from the left shoulder, down the back, feel fall descending to your right hip. Pause, hold the breath as you anticipate winter. And then feel the whole body as one. Feel those 3 parts. Feel your own personal abode. So when we map out our body, we map out where we begin to orient ourselves so that we can put ourselves in the center of our circumstance. And then breathe in through your whole house. Start to open the windows up, set up the conditions for a cross breeze. Breathe in through the nose. Open out through the mouth. When you're ready, roll to your right. Come up to a comfortable seated pose when you're ready. And take your hands together at the heart. Make one hand with both hands. And then bow your chin to your chest. We'll close with a breath. Take a deep full breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Blink the eyes open. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for your beautiful energy and practice. It's so fun that we are all together in this space. So thank you so much for joining. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll turn on